A lot of factors dictate the culture of a city. Some stories we grow old and forget, and others we sweep under the rug and don't talk about. It's my way to pass these stories down so they won't be forgotten. This is Real STL Stories. But before we get into the video, I got to give a special shout out to the sponsors of this video, Slapwoods. We all know somebody who would take them 15 to 30 minutes to roll a wood. You got to cut it and you got to wash it if you're doing it right. But don't trip, Slapwoods got you. This premium leaf wrap already comes pre-washed and hand cut with no stems on the edges, so all you got to worry about is purling. Shout out to Neil and the team over at Slapwoods for sending me the product. When I tell you this for real deal, za blowers. If you want to taste your flower and you still want that rush that a wood give you, Slapwoods is for you. They based out of H-Town right now, but if you want this product, go to slapwoods.com and order you some today. For the people in STL I deal with, I got it too. You heard me? Come tap in. On March 11, 1991, Tyrone McClinton, known as St. Louis' Hitman T, will be found shot in the neck at a service station lot. Conflicting stories say that Hitman and friends encountered rival gang the Crips when a fight and eventually the shooting of Hitman happened. The other story is that McClendon was just caught out of bounds on the wrong side of town and had to pay. Regardless, in St. Louis, a warrior dies an honorable death, and he went out shooting to his credit. But to add context to this story, we got to go back to the 80s. St. Louis has maintained a high murder rate since the 70s, but in the 1980s, that number seemed to be trending down. More than likely, it was because of the emergence of breakdancing and its peaceful ways of conflict resolution. Now, fast forward to 1988, the movie Colors, starring Sean Penn and Robert Duvall, hits theaters. This gritty police drama exposed other parts of America to the gang politics going on in LA.
Rocket.
Fuck the Crips, eh? They die. I want in. Take this shit no more. It's me vile. I want in. Get off the fucking porch, Holmes. Get off the fucking porch, Holmes. Cause you wanna jump this little fucker in, huh? I don't think he's tough enough, Holmes. I don't think he's got enough heart.
Let's not forget NWA comes out too around this time. St. Louisans ate this gang culture up and wanted parts up in it. And it should be common knowledge now that the CIA and the DEA use young black American men to distribute their cocaine. If you're familiar with Freeway, Ricky Ross, or even if you watch the show Snowfall, it sort of gets into it.
Cars are people heads are popping up out of cars, and I mean, it was a setup.
So explain the whole Iran-Contra thing and what your role in it and what Blandon's role was in it.
Well, my role was that Blandon would bring me drugs to sell to raise money for the Contras. The Contras was backed by the CIA, which was Ronald Reagan and George Bush, and George Bush's pet P, George Bush Sr.'s pet P. They felt that if they lost Nicaragua, that Russia would be marching down the streets of the United States.
These agents traveled across country and flooded St. Louis with their dope and also dropped off their flags and their hoods. But not all of St. Louis is really tied to the motherland in Cali. Some already had plugs and some just jumped on the trend and got to pick which flag they wanted to rep. This is where Dorsey comes in.
Dogs are known to all. The most notorious member of B.O.D, Dorsey Brandon, known simply by his first name. Dorsey's reputation for lawless brutality has made him a legend in St. Louis.
Dorsey, will because of his propensity for violence, you know, his nature, his temper. It was short. He had a real quick fuse.
Its depiction of LA's warring Crips and Bloods inspired local gangs to take up sides.
It hit St. Louis like a windstorm, a snowstorm, a blizzard out of nowhere.
B.O.D. and the Horseshoe Posse decided to be Bloods, until Dorsey discovered he didn't have enough enemies.
With everybody being Bloods, that means everybody was cool with each other. With Dorsey, he didn't want to be cool with everybody. He wanted to be able to have some action.
So,
Hitman T, a Blood, and Dorsey, a Crip, took Cali gang culture and added the STL murder gang to it. The murder rate in STL started to skyrocket, with these two being the top pushers.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Gangs, drugs, and guns mixed for a violent past 24 hours on the streets of St. Louis. 7 victims were wounded in drive-by shootings.
Steve Jankowski reports police fear this might be the beginning of a violent summer.
Hitman T seemed to be the worst of the two. Hell, the dude name is Hitman. You know, it might sound corny now, but back in the 90s, the late 80s, you know, he had to earn that. Rumor has it that Dorsey is the one who took Hitman T life in 91. Hitman was loved tremendously by one side. It said that when news broke of him passing, that kids all across St. Louis just up and walked out of school. But he was tremendously hated by the other side as well. Urban myth was that after his funeral, they dug him up and they put him on his mama's front porch. But that was false. That was just a rumor. They did try to burn his mama's house down though. They threw Molotov cocktails through the window in hopes of killing his mama, his sisters, and his younger brother, who they got later. As for Dorsey, he knew the other side was on his head and was supposed to be laying low. But, you know, he couldn't break that itch. He had to get outside. And when he got outside, they got some get back for a Hitman. They shot him 7 times, but he ended up surviving. A short time later, in an unrelated incident, Dorsey would be shot 2 times. These 2 shots, along with the 7 shots Dorsey took just previously, finished him. Looking back now at these events, I still can't believe that the people in the 90s let the government and its agents convince them to gangbang. I feel like that's like Lil Durk and NBA Youngboy convincing you to be OTF or 4K Trey. Yeah, we joke about it now, but nothing's coming from that. But if this was the 90s, our parents would definitely be OTF or 4K Trey. That's wild. The current generation don't too much bang over colors now. And if you do,
Stop it. Get some help.
this is a story I had to highlight and bring to a new generation of St. Louis. Know your history and where you came from, or you're going to be doing to repeat it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm out.